Most of the world tells you there's a strict formula for getting smart. You put in 12 years of grade school, 4 years of college, and maybe 6 years of graduate school. But a lot of the time, that 22-year pipeline just leaves you with a mountain of debt and a degree you have no idea how to use. When we say we want to get smarter, we usually mean something much more practical. We want to learn useful skills that actually generate income. We want to solve complex problems, and we want to sound intelligent in casual conversation, just smart enough to earn respect, but not so much people think you're an arrogant nerd. The problem is that most advice on the internet is frustratingly vague. It's so philosophical that the only people who could successfully execute it are Oprah or Socrates. It doesn't give a normal person anything tangible to do right now. If you look for specific, actionable steps instead, you run right into a recycled list of passive life hacks. Eat more blueberries. Prioritize your sleep schedule. Take an online IQ test, or listen to classical music. But at some point, you actually have to learn things. The geniuses of history didn't reach their peaks relying on a list of superfoods copied from a WikiHow article or sprayed onto a subway wall. They sat at a desk, focused intensely, and put in the hours. Genuine intelligence comes through a deliberate, mechanical process of active acquisition. The first mechanical step is simply reading. Fiction is great for increasing your reading speed and building a better vocabulary, but nonfiction is where you gather the raw data you need for the real world. Consuming nonfiction gives you a specific tactical advantage. It allows you to extract interesting historical or scientific facts and casually weave them into everyday discussions, which elevates how people perceive you. But there is a very common failure state here. If someone makes a slight error in conversation, the immediate instinct is to interrupt with a corrective, "well, actually." In the real world, doing this instantly makes you unlikable to your peers. You have to shift your approach. Instead of an aggressive correction, frame the data as a shared realization. If you simply say, "I was reading the other day, and apparently," you invite the other person into the discovery, rather than proving them wrong. You must teach others without making them feel inferior. Navigating that social tact is the only way to convert the raw information in your head into genuine respect from the people around you. Once you have the raw data, you need to apply it. And there is a core efficiency metric to keep in mind. You only need to acquire 20% of the baseline knowledge to successfully execute 80% of a skill. This chart shows the learning curve. You experience a steep upward trajectory when picking up a new subject, making massive progress instantly. But here's the catch. If you don't physically practice, your brain categorizes the information as useless. Your progress drops to 0. Data deleted. Think about the physical mechanics of tying a necktie. No one has ever successfully learned to tie one purely by watching a tutorial. You can only commit the sequence to memory by physically holding the fabric and moving it with your own hands. Reading a book or watching a video is merely theoretical acquisition. Tying that knowledge directly to a physical action is the only mechanism that forces your brain to permanently lock the information in. That creates a major roadblock. How do you practice a physical skill when you don't have the required tools lying around? You might read about how to jumpstart a dead car, but you don't have 2 vehicles parked in your living room to test it on. You can use a neurological exploit. By meticulously imagining the entire situation from start to finish, visualizing the rain, popping the hood, and connecting the cables, you trick your brain into believing the information was actually used in reality. This trick is actually the secret utility behind the entire traditional school system. Teachers know you won't use geometry for another 15 years, so they design exams. An exam is strictly an artificial, high-stakes environment built to force this exact type of mental simulation and memory retention. To your brain, these artificial stakes feel incredibly real. The intense isolation and severe pressure of standardized testing triggers a genuine fear of failure, forcing the mind to hold on to every piece of data to solve the immediate problem at hand. The brain operates on efficiency. It discards information as soon as it seems irrelevant to your current environment. Once the artificial threat of the exam passes and the utility is gone, the memory is inevitably discarded. If you want to bypass the classroom, you have to manufacture your own extreme mental stakes. You have to convince yourself that you are hanging off a cliff by one arm, and the only way someone pulls you up is if you can recall the exact data you just read. This is why the absolute top-tier learning tool for a modern learner is the standard textbook. There is no fluff and no hand-holding. It delivers pure, dense information and then immediately forces you into a high-stakes simulation using mandatory practice questions. Watching a quick explainer video is comfortable, but the details fade as soon as the video ends. Becoming genuinely smart requires abandoning passive entertainment and aggressively forcing your brain into a state of active, simulated practice.